Well, I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force Wins, and it's great to be here at the 36th annual Verte Peninsula Mining Conference. Thank you to our good friends at Brook Construction, High Tech Communication, and Western Petroleum for bringing this conversation alive. They understand that everybody's voice matters, and that's certainly happening here at this incredible conference. And on that note, Scott, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Okay, I'm Scott Baie. I'm CEO and President of Baie Limited Shoreline Aggregates. Born here in Verte, 1965, so I've got 60 years in. Worked in the business, family business for 40 plus years in management. I'm, I guess, the nuts and bolts that keeps it together. We've been so very active with all the mining companies over the last 60 years. Started off with Advocate Mines in early days. My dad started repair shops here, and I had taxi and bus services, apartment rentals, just whatever services he could supply to the mining sector. Back then it was Advocate Mines and the Ramblers Mines, first Ramblers Mines. So he was quite busy in the early days building the town, the schools, the infrastructure was all put here in the 60s and 70s, and he was I guess a supplier of services for the whole town. Back then the roads were all gravel roads, so like tires were a big thing. You changing tires, there was a lot of construction happening here, and he would always make the joke that Monday mornings we had the only tow truck, of course, in the area. And we had a lot of Frenchmen here, a lot of contractors coming into the area, and Verte was the hub. So the bars were all here in town, so on the weekend everybody would congregate to Verte. Of course, on their way home, there'd be cars out through the woods everywhere. So Monday morning was a fishing expedition that he would have to go and tow these cars back and get them back on the road. Cars were built a lot tougher back then, so a few rocks didn't hurt them the same as today. But it was a great life growing up here in Verte. I have two brothers that are in the business with me together, so we are a third owner of Baie Limited, which was our dad's founding company, and we are equal partners in the business. And we've been very supportive of all the mining incentives here on the peninsula, and we're obviously involved in our own activities right now with shoreline aggregate, shipping aggregate to the United States, producing from some of the waste rock from the mining operations. Also, we've established our own quarry for concrete stone and to open up another market in the area. So shoreline and Baie have been active. We did all the contract mining for Anaconda Mining for 14 years. In the process of doing that, we also trucked all the ore from the Ramblers project for 12 years from their mine to their mill, which is 50 kilometers away. So we had, a fair amount of people employed there, maybe 30 with Ramblers. We probably had 55, 60 with Anaconda. Today we have about 120 employees, and we get up to 150 at peak season. So we've been pretty active over the years in the mining world, and I'd just like to talk a little bit about my vision, my concerns going forward. And as if you know who we are as a company, Baie Limited, we are community-minded people, and this is our town, our community, our home. And we've been stakeholders here all our lives, so very important to what happens here in this town, and to see the boom and bust over the years, and now we see another cycle where it looks like it's gonna boom again, and everything's got to come back. So we had like 30 wonderful years here with the asbestos mine, and it built the town and built all the infrastructure. We had all the amenities of any big city in Newfoundland, and we were very proud of that, and as kids growing up in that, we were able to we could compete against all the other sports teams. We had lots of kids, lots of people, schools. We had 4 or 5 schools here at the time, but obviously we had that downturn in the economy where the next generation came up. They had to move out west and take jobs out there, so we lost a full generation of our workforce, and it was tough to try to keep going here and attract people back here, because the money wasn't here the same as when the mines were operating. So it was a tough time. So Verte have gone in a little bit of a slump where the infrastructure is starting to fail, and we're seeing every day the town trying to to do emergency repairs. The town has no money, but they have aging infrastructure that needs very much attention. And if they don't soon get something, I mean, the town is bankrupt, really. So it's great to know that, you know, we have Firefly coming on board. We have maritime resources that are going to be active here now with the Pine Cove Mill site. We were participating in the acquisition of them purchasing that property. So Shoreline acquired a piece of that property as well. So we own the port area and we ship out the aggregates from there. So together we made that happen, and it's been working well. So there's going to be a fair amount of revenue generated now through the mining companies and Shoreline and Firefly Maritime. So I feel there should be a very good revenue tax base come into the town from those operations that can support maybe the town being able to levy some heavy funding to put the infrastructure back in place.
Wow.
But I'm going to wear a different hat now because I'm all about you know, the infrastructure that we're trying to create and the workforce that we've got and the mining companies. But what I'm seeing, you know, we get tremendous support from the government side or the bureaucrats on, you know, with mining industry and all the different departments. They've been great, but it seems like in the community side we're lacking. So behind the scenes things are happening with government, they're moving things along, but our town is dying. And right now I don't want to be, you know, sometimes you're in a big position, so you don't want to speak bad about government, but I feel I have to kind of raise some concerns that I see in this area, because in order for us to prosper and be able to go forward for the next generation, we're going to need some government support here. Right. And we're not looking for government handouts. We just need them. Maybe they might have to co-sign for us, and right. We can pay our debt.
Some support there, right? Yes.
Yeah. So we've formed a task force under the chamber. I don't know if you've interviewed anybody from the chamber or on that task force, but we're trying to bring all this in a document so we can recognize exactly what the needs are in this area, from daycare to recreation to education to healthcare to physical education, you know, our walking trails and amenities. So we're going to recognize all that. The biggest hurdle that I've seen in the last 8 or 10 years, we lost our community center because of aging infrastructure, and it dilapidated to a place that they couldn't replace it. And we did have some guarantees from the town, from government, that they would assist the town in putting a new community center here. And it's been 10 years now, and we haven't got a community center. They've looked at repurposing one of the old schools. Every time they go to tender, price just keeps going up and up, and way over budget, and they can't seem to rein it in. And you know, 10 years without a community center, it's very heart-wrenching that we can't host a gathering of more than 200 people in our community. We're using the stadium. We've done a great job here to decorate this building and make it a usable venue, but it's most of the time it's cold here, and it's hard to have a venue like this. And in order to make it beautiful like it is now, it's very expensive. Yeah. So we do need a facility in our town. We do need to get this moving ASAP in order for us to continue. But my vision for the town, I have a volunteer council that are I don't want to say that they're weak, but their voice is not strong, and they're volunteers, and they're doing so good a job as they can do. But I see where we need some more professional people that are more experienced people in business that need to sit on council and start lobbying government and be a voice to get what we need. Because if we don't speak out for the needs of the town, then, you know, we're not going to be heard. And like everybody said, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So,
Scott, are you excited about the future and what's happening here? I mean, you've been around. This is your town, as you've said. And the way you're talking here, your vision is way beyond you. You're trying to create a town that you're not going to see. You know, you're building this for future generations.
For me, my vision right now and my passion, like, I did serve on council here for, I think, probably 6 years or 5-6 years. But I've moved outside of the town boundaries, just outside. I have up in a cottage up in Flatwaters. So we're just outside the boundary. So when I got outside the boundary, I had to step down from council. Now, I own lots of property in this town under our business identity. So, but that don't count. You have to.
Sure.
So that's fine. But, you know, I can step back and I can volunteer on other groups. But my passion is to see Baie Verte back to where it was.
Yeah.
I'm 60 years old. I do have succession in our company. My son Aaron is the COO of Shoreline. He's running the operation at Shoreline. I've got a young management team that we're grooming to take over my succession. So I've been able to step back a little bit from the day-to-day operations, and I'm focusing more on getting our community back, because I'm very excited about what's coming, because I know I've been here through the ups and downs, and I know what this can create. But if we're not ready when the time comes, then we're going to miss out, and it'll happen, but Baie Verte is going to be pushed to act fast, right?
Scott, an absolute pleasure to be in conversation with you and look at your big vision for the town, but yet also showcase where we've come from and the pathway forward. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time.
It is, but I feel a little bit disheartened, especially this week, because we've been looking forward to this conference and bringing the stakeholders all together, and I really thought that we would have a big government presence here.
Right.
Like, we just had a new premier elected. We've got a new minister of innovation, trade, and mines. Great time for him to come here. So I think some personal issues came up that he had to attend, so I'll understand that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's lots of ministers and lots of deputy ministers. There's no excuse not to have somebody here representing. Right. So I think last minute we did manage to get someone to fill the gap. But you look around here this weekend, there's very little government people here. And we feel like we're not being heard.
Right.
We're not being taken serious. And I think with an election coming up this fall, man, this was the place to be. A new premier. They don't even have a delegate elected or in this area for the Liberals on this area. We're a progressive conservative riding. When we had the by-election last year, every minister, even the premier, came down and they visited our office, and we had a chance to air our concern.
Right.
And every one of those ministers that came and visited said, "Man, they've been in government here for 10 years, and they said we really dropped the ball on Baie Verte. We could see where they finally took a ride around town. You see our roads, you see the infrastructure is failing, and they apologize because they haven't been to the table with us to make this greater." And okay, so great. So they had the election. They didn't win the election, but we got a lot of lip service, I think, from them, and we didn't see any follow-up. So here was not, and I expressed this. I said, well, if you don't win the election, there's a fall election coming that you got a chance now to pick up the pace. So I'm a little bit disappointed that we're not seeing that group here right now.
There's an opportunity for them to be in this conversation.
Yeah.
Scott, I got to tell you again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your vision on what's happening here.
Yeah. So just one more thing was I drove around this town last week, and I have some employees that part of the condition of employment was to live in the town. I'll say this was probably back a year ago, and I took a ride around town and looked at what was for sale around here, and then I started looking. When I actually looked at the town, I had to look at, why would anybody want to live here? Housing was getting in rough shape, the roads, the sidewalks, there just wasn't anything here to offer new people coming in. It's already for somebody like me who lived there all their lives and got a connection here, but somebody new coming in, there's not a lot to entice them to come here. So I found that I had an employee that was a great employee, and I really couldn't afford to lose her. But she came to me one day, she said, "This is not working for me. I've been here a year and it's not working. So I'm going to go back to St. John's. I'm going to get a job there." And I said, well, we got to be able to make this right. So she's actually working from home, and she can do that. She's a professional, and she don't need to be babysitted. So she's working from home, and she comes here once a month now for a few days, and she's looking after our quality assurance. So she's still active and very, very professional in her trade. But I drove around and I just past week, and I looked at Baie Verte, I know, is in a deplorable state from the community side because of government not having any funding to fix the roads, or they're just doing emergency repairs, just trying to make things work. But then when I looked at the government infrastructure that's here, like the main thoroughfare going through our town, Highway 410, is not owned by the community, it's owned by the provincial government. Mm-hmm. And if you drove through our town, you would see the sidewalks that are part of that infrastructure and the potholes and the roads just going through our town, and it's that deplorable, man. And that's the government's job. Then I drove down around our community college, which is not very active, and you look at the parking lot, and you look at the grounds, and you look at the building, man, is like poverty, and it reflects on who we are. And then I left that, so that's a government building. I left that and I drove up around our health care center, our hospital, and there's potholes up there as big as these tables that are here in the parking lot, and it's deplorable. And these are government assets that there's no excuse, because the excuse for the town because they don't have the cash to do the infrastructure repairs. Yeah. But we got a government that's got assets in this town, and they're not adding to it. They're just right. Letting the stuff deteriorate and dilapidate, and it's concerning. And I think it's like we're not getting the voice we need. Now, like I said, we don't have a real strong council voice, but I think, we've got an election coming up this fall, and I think some people have expressed some interest to run. And not to discredit the people that are there, but maybe there's some people that can offer a different opinion or different view. And I'm hopeful that we're going to attract some people. So we're working behind the scenes with the chamber and hoping that we can facilitate a lot of this movement forward. And my company, Shannon Lewis, works for me as well, and he's a part of business development with Guy J. Bailey Shoreline. So I've kind of elected him to take this role on with me, and we're talking to government officials, and we're getting some action. And I think, like I said, it was a little bit disappointing that we didn't see the government presence here in this conference that we should have seen, but I think they owe it to us to make it up. So I understand things come up and they can't make an appointment, but guess what? We're still here. So reschedule and come back and talk to us. And that's what I'm asking for the government. The commitment to the government is reschedule your time, come visit us, and we'll show you what we're doing here, and we're doing great things. And we're going to make this town great again. We're making America great again because we're shipping our rock down there and we're paving their roads. And we want to make Newfoundland great again. So Baie Verte is a great place to start. And I hope that the people listening here today take something from it. Come visit us. We'll take you for a tour around our site and show you what we're doing and all the good things that are happening around here. And I think you'll take a shine to it. And hopefully we can bring Baie Verte back to what it was in the 70s and 80s when we had 3,500 to 4,000 people in Baie Verte. Right now we're down to 1,200 people. So there's not enough people to support the infrastructure that's here. So we need to get the infrastructure back. Government, give us a loan guarantee, help us get our infrastructure back, and we'll pay the money back. We're not asking you to give us the money, just sign for us. Be a dad to us and say we're going to sign for you and let you build your town back. And that's what we need. We need some government intervention, and I think if they can do that, we'll make it.
Well, little doubt about it. Baie Verte is a great place, and there's no doubt about it. You got a great vision for it. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Hopefully, you'll have a few more people that'll tune in and make a difference for sure.